back on the channel. We're going to continue with the pod as we're almost at the end of that part of this build. Right now, we are going to get the final parts situated. I'm going to show you guys the last bit of detail work and where I ended up with that. You saw a lot of it in the last episode. And then I'm going to show you exactly how I rigged up my lights. So, it should be interesting. So, let's just dive right into it. As you can see here, I have the pod and the outer shell and the inner pod itself. So, let's take a look at the mole. I've got it finally finished. All the painting is done. All the weathering. And I think it came out really great. I'm really happy with the way this looks. I've got as much detail as I could cram into this tiny little thing. And I think it came out exactly the way I wanted it to. So I'm very, very happy with it. You can see we have the treads painted now. Let's see if we can give you a good look at that. You can see the body of the mold. You can see there's dirt all over it. I used some brown, some Tamiya. What color was that? Some of the Tamiya brown panel liner for the dirt on here. If you want to see everything that I used to make this, then just tune into the last episode and I go over every color and every paint that I used on here. At least I think I go over everything. The only recent thing that I did afterwards was that I put a flat coat over the mold itself to seal everything in. And like I said, I think it looks fantastic now. I'm very happy with the way this came out. So now let's take a look at a new bit of detail work that we did. This is the mobile lab, which sits in the landing bay or in the pod bay here. And as you can see, I painted the mobile lab. I added some details just to make it a little more interesting to look at. Did some chipping effects on it. You know, there's a little bit of rust here and there. It's well used, much like everything else that is on this ship. So I'm happy with the way that came out, as it does look like it's been used quite a bit without being completely abused. Didn't want to go too heavy on the chipping effects, but I really enjoy doing the worn, weathered, chipped look. So I had to, pull myself back a little bit as I was going in it.
I've gone too far.
Now, I did all of the detail work on the top here. They're using Tamiya metallic gray, Tamiya copper, the Tamiya titanium gold, just to add a little more visual interest to it. So I'm very happy with the way that came out, and that's going to sit right in the pod bay here to the side. And then we have our last bit of detail work, which is that little round red thing that I pointed out the last time, which I don't even know what I could call that, but it just kind of looks cool, so I'm leaving it there. Okay, so that takes care of the pod, because you already know about the other extra added detail that I put in there. Okay, so now let's talk about the shell of the pod, and specifically the lights. Now, I was a little stuck on how I was going to run the wiring through. I didn't want to have the wiring being seen. So what I did was I took a bit of aluminum tubing here, bent it to the shape of the pod shell itself, and then I ran a wire through it so that now it's going to look like metal piping or conduit on the wall of the pod, which is running all the wiring. So I'm happy with the way that looks. Now, the light fixture itself was a little trickier, as I wasn't really sure how I was going to glue that in there and still be able to move. I still had to move it around, as I'm loading it, mounting it to the bottom part of the lower half of the pod, I have to make sure that the lights are situated in a way that they're going to shine correctly. So I had to do a lot of fitting on and off, on and off. So the only way I could think of to hold the pod in place was to use magnets. Damn! So this worked out really cool because I can now remove the lights. You can see the two small magnets there. I drilled two small holes in the ribs and glued two magnets to the back side of the light fixture. And now we can just drop the light fixture in, if the magnets will let me. And there we go. Every single time it mounts up right where we want it. So the light fixture looks great there. It'll shine down and give me my light exactly where I want it. And we're going to test it out right here and right now so you guys can see exactly how this thing is going to light up. So give me a second to set this up and we'll get right on that. Okay, now I'm just going to show you how I'm going to route this wiring in. As you can see, the piping is going to sit here and it's going to sit right on the edge of, let me find a little pointer here. This will work. The piping is going to sit right here between the outer hole and the inner hole of the pod floor. Now, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to route my wires between the inner and outer holes down. I'm going to drill a small hole right here and bring the wires out from the bottom of the pod. Right there where you see that white little dot. So once I get the wires out, this pod will be mounted in a display base. Guys, so now we have the pod bay lit up. You can see the three lights in there lighting everything up, but I think I'm going to give us a better look at how it's going to light everything up by turning off the lights. Okay, guys, what do you think? Of how that looks. You can see all of the detail, if I can get you focused in there, going on inside. There go the ribs, the structure with support. There go our supplies that are sitting on the deck. You can see some of the detail work that's inside. Here's a good look at. Excuse the flickering. We have just a loose connection to the battery, as it's just a quick connection there. But if you take a look, we can look through the back here. Very cool. You can see all the decal work there. Once I clean the outer shell here and polish it out, it'll be a lot clearer than what it is now, but I think that that's working out really, really nicely. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to place the pod on the inside or not. I'm very happy with the way it's turned out. And the diffused lighting really works to the advantage of the pod bay. And it's not super bright so that it's blinding everything out. So it's really working out, really turning out nice. I'm very happy with it. I'm going to try this with one of my lights on here so that the camera can work a little better in the reduced light. And there we go. We can see a lot better in there now. You can see all of the details, the decals, the structural members that are in there. You can see all those details. I am really happy with the way this turned out. Not so happy with those injection pin marks. But with the rest of it, I am super thrilled. Look from above, where you can see how well it lights up the mold. So that from all angles, you can get a really good look at what's going on in there. All right, so now we're going to drill our hole here to make passage for our wires. Okay, guys, I got this figured out, I think. What I did was I took my X-Acto knife and spun it into the plastic here. Just a little bit, just create a little pilot hole. And now I'm going to use my handy drill from Tamiya. This thing has come in very, very handy plenty of times. And just continue to drill through. And I'm through. Now that hole's not going to be big enough, so now we're going to have to go bigger on this. Or it might just be big enough. Let's see. This is the Tamiya handy drill. Really, really handy. This comes as a, if you haven't seen one of these before, it actually comes as a kit, a model kit from Tamiya. So you actually have to build it and put 2 batteries in it. And it's got a small little motor in there, and it works really well for a lot of these little types of projects. You're not going to be drilling massive holes or anything, but for tiny little things like this, it works really well. So let's see if we can't get our wiring through now. All right, guys, the pod is finished.
Take that thermostat out of there.
Let's just take a quick look at it and the finished product here. Now you can see right through from the front to the back. All of the detailed parts are in there. Let's see if we can give you a good look at that without the lights on. You can see the mobile lab is in there. Let's see if I turn a light on here. Can I give you guys a better look? There you go. You can see all of the interior detail work. Okay, let's see if I can zoom in on that a little bit. There we go. There's a lot of detail in there to look at. I'm very happy with the way it all came out. Except that I just realized I knocked one of my detail pieces out and it's not in there now. No!
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
When did that happen? I had some piping in there. And now I just realized that it's not in there. Well, then I guess it's just never going to be there now. What a shame, because it looked really good in there. But everything else is in there. You can see all the panel painting that I did. I was very happy with the way that came out. The walkways. Very pleased with the way everything came out. Apart from that one part that I must have shot into the stratosphere when I was fitting this thing together. It is a little finicky going together, as you have to make sure you get all of these edges lined up correctly. along with the side edges, and then you have the contact areas in the back here. And so it is a little finicky going together, especially with all of the extra stuff that I added to it. One less extra piece now because I don't know where that part went. And one thing I noticed is that the pins on the doors are not molded correctly because the door will not shut properly. Oh, and it just popped out. So I'm going to have to figure something out there. Even though it's going to be displayed with the door open anyway, because there's no real need to leave the door closed, as I haven't decided whether I'm going to put the mold inside or outside yet in the diorama. So that's it, guys. The pod is done. It's just a quick little video to finish it up. Gonna give you one last look at the lights, and then we're gonna call this video a wrap and move back on to the main ship. So thanks for sticking with this far. This is turning out really cool. Can't wait to get started on that. I'll see you guys on the next one.